So any kind of heaviness or anything that feels like it's been weighing you down, I need you not to worry. It's not laziness or depression or anything wrong. It's just simply an identity shift that's taking place. But this time, it has a lot to do more with soul patterning and karmic contracts and how they can impede the current human experience. So let's get into it. So I am really, really an advocate for not victimizing the human experience. And we have to take self-responsibility in it. Yes, you and I are spiritual beings having a human experience, but that's just it. We're having the human experience, not having the spiritual experience. We already are spiritual beings. So where the theme of today is where you're being guided to take a look at, okay, a peekaboo, to give yourself in a way like a backdoor, not attack, but way of going about this. Instead of coming directly through the front end, we're going through the back door. We're going to your Akashic records, okay? So the overall theme of what's happening right now is finding truth and justice in female relationships. But we're gonna take that a little less literal and call it the feminine energy of self. So whether you're male or female, this has nothing to do with that. This is the lineage of the feminine energy. And the feminine energy has a lot to do with softness, has a lot to do with love to self, has to do with the way that we love other people, the way that we're vulnerable with other people. But real like ding, ding, ding is you, okay? How you feel with yourself. So here's the deal. And this is where sometimes, depending on who reads you, they may literally say, oh, you got this past life thing. And it's like, effing you over. Let's clear this out of your energy system. So these things are valid, but I also need you to know that part of the integration process of being a spiritual being, having a human experience, is actually taking self-ownership in that human experience. So you do have a bit of this lingering, like again, this weakness in the feminine energy. So it feels like for quite a few past lives, for those of you that's watching and being drawn to this video, it's just a matter of realizing, like, in this experience, one of the things that you really, really wanted to have, and you might even think, oh no, I've done that already. I guarantee you're just on the cusp of literally this like openness. It feels very sensual and very sexual, but it doesn't mean like through the act of with another person or literally the acts of that. But there's this vulnerability to sexuality to some, and there's like this taboo nature towards it as well, that sometimes people could carry shame or maybe even the intent to want to pursue things further in a more exploratory way, but then have this like guilt and shame and like, that's not a good idea and you shouldn't be doing that. No, 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 no. And so what's happening is the love of the universe, the love of self, the universal love of intimacy of self with the universe, without shame, without judgment, it's being pretty clouded. So this is an interesting aspect because what I'm feeling is this is not brain oriented. So we tend to feel love, but think with thought through the process of, and then like recollect memories and thoughts and the way that somebody has said something, the way that we've experienced it, and it's going through memory. So highly moving into the sensation of, the feeling of, kind of like allowing all the pieces to come together. And again, we've been working a lot in the heart center these last like few weeks, but it's in a different way. It's not in the cliche, humanized, we say we love donuts, like I love puppies and cats. That's a very different love. That's more of as a baseline surface level, love everybody. But to love self, love is the essence of life, but the conceptualization of it can be misconstrued and like really super watered down. So some of the things that's going on is we're having some disconnect with your messages coming through. And that's why you're kind of feeling like you almost have static. Again, like there's something like in my way? Not that you're feeling, I feel like you're starting to possibly see the light at the end of the tunnel if you've been feeling kind of like paralyzed or stressed. Like hope is on the rise, but we don't even want to attach to hope. That's still like holding on to the fact that something is going to go wrong. I'm hoping that instead of I intend as I move forward that this is in my best interest of my highest light for the good of all and all of creation. So what's going on is we have reversed 4 of Michael and we have reversed Queen of Raphael. And this is intuitive things. So your mind and soul are like competing right now. And what's actually the competitive aspect is your freaking mind, okay? So your body, your soul, it feels like your body is a little bit more receptive to everything that's been going on, because I feel like you've been probably nonchalantly been being really super drawn, even as we go into this, to the nervous system calming down and the openness of yourself. As you take a breath, as you breathe, as you relax, as your shoulders drop, as your neck releases. But this thing keeps going. Why isn't there more? Why didn't it change yet? How come you didn't do it? I'm so stressed. You should be stressed right now. It feels like you're too calm. Chatter, 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 chatter. So when we have too much chatter up there, it can cloud your signals coming in from the universe, okay? However, whether or not you see, hear, feel, or just know, depending on what senses you attract from. And right now, they're very clouded because your mind is very much like a contagion leaking into areas right now. So there's been a whole lot of overanalyzation and an overthought of, do I go do more? Do I need to do more spiritual work? Do I need to be more? Do I need to have more action? Do I need to have more rest? Should I, could I, would I? Like, there's all these things instead of just like, here's where I am. Here's what I'm doing right now. Of course, is an action-based period because I have this list of things to do. I'm in alignment to it. I'm not forcing this outcome to happen. It's working really fluidly. I have detachment towards the outcome, or I have detachment towards it rather than only focusing upon the outcome. So we have a lot of this coming like all around. And the whole objective here, you have 2 of Michael, is coming together with yourself instead of competing with yourself to say, you know what, you're right. For lifetimes, eons now, I have led estranged lives as a human being. I have learned detachment. I have learned loneliness. I have learned self-sufficiency. I have learned hyper-independence in the grandest form ever. Now, what is it like to really have vulnerability, but not through weakness? To have desire of another person, but not through codependency. See the difference? You feel the difference? So this is what they're asking you. So it's the intimacy, the true intimacy of self, like to fall in love with the universe. Like, again, it sounds odd coming out, but I want to use the words like sensually, intimately love the universe. Intimately love the universe because you're intimately loving yourself so much with all vulnerability, no matter what thought arises, what questions you have, you give them grace and you give them the openness to freely be able to direct themselves, like to freely be able to speak themselves. And so I was picking up on this before I started, and I'm going to just kind of dive into that just slightly right now. What I want you to understand, this isn't I'm going to say surface level. This isn't a matter of being comfortable by saying like, I'm a woman who likes women and I'm a woman who also likes men. It's not that. It's beyond that, because you can still be confident enough in yourself and say, I'm a man that loves men and, I'm gay and this is my life. And even though for maybe a portion of the beginning of your life, you could have had shame or a guardian parent, etc., that like made you feel guilt about it or hid it away. And then, you, as they say, you come out the closet and you're like, here I am, this is me. Okay. Well, inside the relationships with the partners, you still could be lacking self-vulnerability and self-intimacy. And we have a tendency to still wall ourselves off, even though we don't realize that we're doing it. This is the part you're honing in on, is that inner vulnerability, the inner sense of intimacy It will greatly impact if you are in a relationship and or help you if you've been seeking one to have that like full like round effect. Okay. Like everything's coming full circle. That's what I was going for. Coming full circle for you. But you do have to choose, like not choose, but choose to make a compromise. Choose to realize that it's not one without the other. It's all. Like it's all of the above coming together as one, and without shaming parts of yourself along the way or bypassing them, saying like, oh no, I mean, now that I'm a mom, or now that I'm 57, now that these are all just excuses. There's no limits upon anything other than the limits that you create towards them. Okay. Like there's literally absolutely no limits. So solution oriented, as we begin to finish this read, the way that you're able to find compromise and begin to bring everything together is they're really, really, really recommending taking this as a slow and steady process. So identity shifts when you're outgrowing versions of yourselves beyond the superficiality. They are a slow process because these are the deep inner workings that have made you who you are today. And there is a psychological like phenomenon going on, okay, with your mind that is going to manipulate you into letting you know that you don't want to let these things go, because then who are you without them? So just as I say in the human form, if you're breaking a habit and you've been smoking cigarettes every day, and partially it has to do with like social anxiety, sitting on the bench waiting for a friend, you light one up. It's break time. Well, what else are you going to do? Let's go light one up. And then you decide to stop that habit. What are you filling it with though? So I highly recommend, one of the biggest solutions for you is, if I know it's wintertime for most of you guys, but if you can, even if it's just looking outside of a window, I want you, again, you're connecting with the laws of the universe as one, the inside and outside. So even if it's glancing through a window, if you're able to get outside, depending on your climate, go journal, go sit with yourself. Even if it's just a mental journal, literally writing or typing, take some time with yourself to just ask yourself, like, what does it feel like to be in the sensuality? Okay. And then if you really want to start understanding on a deeper level why your system feels so heavy, the quiz I have below, which is free, will show you the exact pattern that you've been keeping yourself in. And it's not to define yourself by it. It's to utilize it as a tool so that you can break free and have more forward momentum.